Good morning. It is Friday. Finally, it is Friday, August 6th. Very glad for it to be Friday. I am Dr. Tony Rails Sutherland, and today on Up to the Minute, my co-host is Frank Cooper. Frank, how you doing?
Doing great. I'm glad it's the end of the week so I can party this weekend. How you doing?
There you go. That's what we work the week for the weekend, right?
Absolutely. Ladies and gents, thank you so much for joining our Facebook Live, HCC Up to the Minute. Just so you know, there are multiple ways to watch the show. If you want YouTube, if you hit the notification bell, search HCC Up to the Minute. 5 days a week, we're on there. Also on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and LinkedIn. And then we're also on TV. So from 12 p.m. and 5 p.m. Monday through Fridays on HCTV. So check your local listings.
Hey, yes. And it is Film Friday. And so later we're going to interview Dave Morales from Backstage OL, and he's going to talk to us. Hey, Dave, how you doing?
Sorry, I came in muted. I should know better than that, right? Apologies for that. In fact, the joke is, I will tell you this, Tony, the joke is that I'm so loud that I don't really need a mic. Just open the window and everybody will hear me. Great to see everybody.
Well, I've got a theater background. I know what you're talking about. Every time I open up my mouth, everybody hears it. Okay. Well, anyways, we're going to come back to you in just a few minutes. First, we're going to start with Dr. Kumela Tafa. And Dr. Tafa is with the Department of Natural Sciences. He's a professor here at HCC for physics and astronomy. So since registration is heating up tremendously, and the first day of class is August 23rd, we want to talk about some of the stuff we have for the fall. So welcome, Dr. Tafa. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Very good. Thank you. Well, listen, tell us a little bit about the Division of Natural Sciences. What are the disciplines that are under that division?
Okay, thank you. That's a good question. And the Natural Sciences Division constitutes astronomy, physics, geology, technical mathematics, and there are other workforces. Maybe those workforces might go. So I'll just focus on these for now.
Okay, sounds good. Now, you've mentioned before that the evolving nature of education. Tell me a little bit about how that affects the Division of Natural Sciences and what you exactly mean by that philosophy.
Yes, thank you. So when I refer to the evolving nature of education, nothing is, of course, static. Everything changes. That change is dictated either by the need of society or our technological advancement. Just to give you a typical example, we are not using the farming technology we have been using 100 years ago. There are things that have changed. So what changes that, what drives that change is, one, the population of the world has changed. And second, technologically, we have advanced. We can harvest a lot from a limited area than, plowing all over the planet. And similarly, when you come to education, the demand for education and a societal drive as well as technological drive are what are actually driving, or that is how education is evolving today. For instance, not too long ago, when I was in school, distance education was taught of as, everything is going to be through mail. So to send a mail from here, say to Washington, it might take a while for information to go there and come back to the professor. But look at what we are doing right now. You and I, we are sitting at our own table and we are communicating live. So those are the things that have actually evolved, or that's what I'm referring to when I'm saying, when I refer to the evolving nature of education.
So, how do you think you and the division fit into this drive?
Very good. Thank you for that. So our division or science in general, okay, is preparing for the change for a long time, but the pandemic actually drive and put or places us at the center of it. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Earlier, or especially if you take physical sciences, that is where my division is, with physics, geology, and others. We were all in person, or our higher courses were in person. We kind of not hesitant, but philosophically we say, okay, students will learn these quantitative and hands-on science courses by doing hands-on stuff in the classroom. So we were limited in the classroom. But during these last almost now 2 years, that was not possible, as you all know. So we have to come up with a way that actually we can address the societal demand, our society's or our community's demand. So we devised a way to reach our students, to reach our community through this media. Okay. So, yes.
So COVID kind of made you make a change. It kind of forced that on you, right?
So it's a need-based. Yes, absolutely. That's a need-based society. These students we have in the system, students who are looking at our community, our college, have to get an answer. So we have to respond to that question. We have to respond to that request. So we, as I said, we jumped onto the wagon, and excuse me, sections or classes we taught are always in person on campus. Now we put them and started delivering them remotely. Excuse me, just
well, you know, it seems to me, okay, you're talking biology, chemistry, those type of subjects. I remember when I was taking biology and when I was taking chemistry, that it was, you did a lot of lab work. You know, you did, you cut up a frog, you know, in high school or whatever. And for biology, chemistry, you actually put some things together. Now, how do you get that experience remotely? How did you work that out?
That's a very good question. So that is where our creativity and actually the good governance of our college came into play. So our college recognized that actually we have to do something when we propose hands-on experiments that can be done at home by students. Yes, the administration jumped on that wagon and helped us a lot. So what have we done? We bought equipment that students can take home from us, we give them as a loaner. They take this equipment home and we instruct them online how to do actually those experiments, hands-on. So it's not virtual, it's not simulation, it's actually our students were doing actual experiment at their home with the help of our institutions, you know, financial support. So that was a huge leap in science education at HCC.
And I guess I know we have online on a schedule type of thing, which means that you're online, but you meet at a certain time. Were you doing things like that so that the instructor could kind of see what the student was doing, the student could see the instructor, and while they're doing the experiment, they could work it together?
Yes, absolutely. So that is how this is done. So we didn't just throw the equipment to them and to say, okay, this is the instruction, and we give you a procedure and do it. No, as you have said, our modality here is actually online on a schedule. So students and the professors will meet at a specified time, just like they meet in class. But this time, instead of in class, they meet virtually, just like we are doing right now. So the instructor will instruct them. If they have any questions, if they have problem connecting the instrument or reading the instrument, they can ask the professor. He can demonstrate to them clearly. So it's almost like the instruction is done in person.
Yes. And in real time. It's neat because, you know, you can't cheat that way. The student has to do it. If he's at home, she's at home, you got to do the experiment. I mean, you can't give it to somebody else to do, or you can't be part of a team where, okay, I'm going to watch you do it. You actually have to do it, right?
Absolutely. Someone has to do it. Someone has to show what they're doing to the professor. For instance, if I take physics, if I'm doing a circuitry board, so I'll ask my students, just show me the board. Let me see how you connected it. Let me see how your resistors are connected or your capacitors are connected. Show me if your bulb is giving light or not, if you did it right. If you don't do it right, you don't get light. So we see that in real time. So yes, there is no cheating here. One has to do it and one has to learn how to do it.
So real quick, are you going to go back to pre-COVID mode, or are you going to, where are you going forward with all this?
Very good. I think from going forward, we are going to have our presence online as well as in classroom. There are things still we think that students are doing better if they communicate directly with their professors in person. Okay, there is limitation to what we can do virtually or in this real-time communication. And there are things which we are doing really, really well in this modality. So I think we are going to present both online and in person.
So you're going to kind of combine both ways.
Yes.
The best of both. Well, Dr. Tafa, thank you so much for being with us. That was really very interesting. You know, I think it's going to be fun to take physics, astronomy, biology, all those wonderful things. You really get the experience that you need. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me, and for students, for your viewers or students. And then I'll just encourage them to, take advantage of this modality we have, as well as our low-cost education that we are offering at HCC.
Absolutely. And we'll have information on that in our post after the show. So check that out and don't forget to register. Okay. So now we get to go do some really fun stuff that I really like. Not that I didn't like the other, but I mean, I really love this. Dave Morales, co-founder of Backstage OL and our Film Friday guest. Welcome again.
Great to see you, Tony. It's always a frantic morning. As you know, I do local television as well here in Houston for those watching us in the Houston market. So I literally raced from that and raced over here. But it's, the world we live in right now with Zoom, everything is just a click away. In fact, there's days that I find myself, it really is, I find myself recording a lot of these celebrity interviews that we do. And I never thought I would do multiple films, where I would, talk to Michael Keaton in the morning and maybe Hugh Jackman like an hour and a half later. And before it was like frantic to get from one location to the next, even when we were traveling to New York and LA. But now everything's a click away and I'm happy to be here.
Now it's easier, really, in a way.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, I want to get back to the traveling. I miss the experience. I know a lot of people like, oh, you go to hotels and planes and you're always in a rush. I kind of like that, Tony. I really do.
Face to face. Yeah. That's great. I know.
It is.
I got to tell before I go into all these wonderful movies, I got to ask you, Backstage OL, how did you come up with that name? What's the OL real mean? I
love that you asked me that question. And we did that. We did it on purpose so we would get asked that question. And I'm going to tell you what it is. And you're going to go, because this happens all the time. So Backstage, obviously going behind the scenes, you said you're a theater background, so you know that. But the OL stands for, as simple as it is, online. Backstage Online. See, I knew you were going to do yeah. Yeah, and that's why we did it.
Okay, very good. All right, now on to the really fun stuff. We got all kinds of new movies coming out. One of them I can't wait to see, Suicide Squad with Margot Robbie. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I'll tell you right now, this is the movie that you need to see. It's out this weekend. You can also stream it for 30 days at home, HBO Max. And I tell people are like, well, Dave, I don't have HBO Max. You know what? Get the free trial. This movie is definitely worth it. Just as if you want to see it in your living room, maybe you're not comfortable with going to the theaters. I always tell people to call the managers and talk about the cleaning protocols. A lot of the theaters we go to here in Houston, the Edwards Marquee off I-10 and Silver, one of our favorites, they strict protocols and they do clean after I've seen them after the screening. So I feel comfortable going to that theater. But again, if you're not comfortable, it's screening in your living room on HBO Max. Another question I get on this film, Tony, is do I need to know the other one that came out a couple of years ago that really was panned by a lot of critics? The quick and short answer is no. You do not need to see the other one. Margot Robbie does return in the role of Harley Quinn. She does an excellent job. There's a few others that return from that movie, but you know what? This is a standalone sequel to that one. You don't need to know anything other than the fact that these are comic characters and you're going to have a blast. This movie, 2 thumbs up. It's so good. It's violent, so keep that in mind, but you're kind of laughing along with the violence and never forget that these are cartoon characters. Yeah, they're villains, but they become superheroes. They're not Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts by any sense of the word, but it is a fun movie. You will totally forget everything else going on in the world. I do recommend the Suicide Squad.
I was looking at the trailer and I could see where it could be funny too. You know, I mean, it's they got some real weird things happening, but it's also funny. So you can have fun.
It's hilarious. And I'll note this when the cast interviews, which if you'd like to see them, you can see them on the YouTube channel, Backstage OL. John Cena he's Peacemaker, and he kept the costume. He said his theory was if he didn't take the costume off, he didn't have to return it. He literally walked off the set with the costume, and he's been making a ton of appearances wearing that helmet. And he explained that in the interview as well. But this movie is going to be huge. Everybody on your social media feeds this weekend will be talking about the Suicide Squad.
Very good. Now there's some other ones coming out. One that I really can't wait to see, Respect, with Jennifer Hudson. I love her voice. I love Aretha Franklin, but I love her voice. It is so wonderful.
You're giving me chills. You really are. Even when you describe the movie right now, because it's that good. It opens next week in theaters. Make some time to see this. We're all fans of Aretha Franklin, and we know her music, but we may not know her life. And she had a very challenging life, and they show everything. You actually get more respect for her as an artist and what she was going through. It's a very raw look at her life. Like, I had no idea she was friends with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and that is shown in this movie. There are a lot of things about her life. She fought for civil rights. She did so much outside of the recording career, outstanding recording career that she had. And Jennifer Hudson, I'll just call it right now. Remember, I said it on this particular program. Jennifer will probably get a nod, an Oscar nomination for this. This movie is that good. All the songs are in the film. But again, it's the backstory and her relationships, a very personal look at the life of the great Aretha Franklin. Something that I want to share with you, a fun fact Jennifer told me when I spoke with her. She's since passed, Aretha Franklin, but she met with Jennifer Hudson about 15 years ago. That's how long this movie's been in development, and wanted Jennifer Hudson to play her in this film. And Jennifer told me about that experience, talking with the Queen of Soul herself.
Oh, it's so wonderful. I saw the trailer, and again, that beautiful voice. Oh my God. I am going to go see that one. And then also, how about Free Guy? That's Ryan Reynolds.
It is Ryan Reynolds, and it's a gamer movie. And I will say this right now, this will go down as one of the best Ryan Reynolds movies in his career. I'm not even the Lantern movie that he did a couple of years ago. A lot of people panned that one, including myself, and Ryan even pokes fun at it. But this is going to go down as one of the great Ryan Reynolds movies. He's excellent in this one. Basically, he's a superhero kind of character found in a video game. He doesn't realize it until much later in the film. I'm trying to stay spoiler free. Even if you're not a gamer, you're going to love this movie. I my expectation for this film was exceeded. I purposely didn't want to know too much going into it. And after I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, I think I want a sequel to this movie. I am not even kidding. Sean Levy is the director who also directs Stranger Things. So some of the people that work on that particular show joined him in this cast. And it's a fun movie. It's a quick, like about 100. Actually, now that I think about it, I think it did time in about close to 2 hours, but it doesn't feel like that. It's just a fun video game movie. You don't need to be a gamer to enjoy it. The humor's there. It's PG-13, safe for the entire family. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie.
Dave, does it give you a Deadpool type of feeling? Is it funny like that?
Well, great, excellent question. It is. The producers of Deadpool are also on this particular film, but it's not the adult humor of Deadpool. So if you take the Deadpool, because Deadpool, man, I don't even let my mom watch those sometimes. No, yeah, but I know I'm like.
You don't want her to know that you're watching it.
Okay, maybe that's what I should be saying from now on. So those types of the themed jokes are in there. But it's PG-13. But yeah, it's definitely got and the cameos. Do not Google before you see it. There are so many cameos in this movie. One that I can tell you about that isn't a lot of the trailers, I believe it was just showed, is Alex Trebek is part of this film. I won't tell you how, but he is in the movie. When he popped up on the screen, I see your reaction. That's how I was, and that's not a spoiler because it has been shown that he's in the movie, but there's so many cameos in this movie. It's just a fun film. And I'm not even a hardcore gamer. Ninja, for those that know the gamers, Ninja and Pokimane, huge Twitch people that they, play games. Yeah, I talked to them the other day and I still don't understand what they do. I said, you play video games for 10 hours a day and they make millions. I'm clearly doing the wrong thing. I'm joking, but they're in the movie and they were consultants and they even said, they made gamers look fun, not nerdy, hiding in the basement. It's just a fun movie. It's a lot of fun. Free Guy, that opens in theaters next week.
Awesome.
And what about streaming? Tell me a little bit. Theaters are opening now. I know they're not coming back in masses, but how is that affecting streaming? And the one on Netflix, Outer Banks?
Yeah, Outer Banks. Well, to answer your question about streaming, people are still flocking to theaters again, with the Delta variant. And I'm encouraging everybody to get vaccinated, wear the mask. Let's end this thing and put it behind us so we can do this show in person, Tony. I want to be hanging out with you guys. So the streaming, look, what we've discovered and what a lot of the studios have found is that, yes, it's taken away from some, but the movies have made a lot of money. Black Widow did a great run at the box office. So I think if you're bigger tentpole movies, like I think Respect is going to have a good showing. I think Free Guy is going to be great. A lot of buzz on that one. Suicide Squad is going to have fantastic box office numbers. F9 did great. Streaming does tap into it, but streaming offers, here's where streaming wins, is that they can offer like series like The Outer Banks, which is a teen drama, but don't think that think of it as back in the day. I'm about to age myself, like Dawson's Creek. I love that show. And the thrill and the excitement. This is, if you have teenagers in your life, they know about Outer Banks. It's all over social media. The fan groups are running the numbers of the thousands. It's a group of teenagers that they're looking for gold. It's a action thriller heist type thing. Think of the Ocean's movies, but done by teenagers. And I say teens, but they're probably like 18 to 21. And the acting is superb. And it's just a fun, heist type series. There's a lot of adrenaline. That's the word I'm looking for. A lot of people talking about it. Outer Banks is now streaming on Netflix.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I mean, I could sit here and talk to you forever, but unfortunately, we only have a certain number of minutes to do this. But thank you, Dave. We really appreciate you being on. And you're going to be on monthly, right?
Correct. You'll see myself and then John Stenball, my colleague and a business partner, also runs BackstageOL.com. Will be joining us on some of these episodes to talk about. There's a lot. All the big movies are coming, and we will have them for you right here up to the minute. And we love working with HCC. Your team is amazing. You're great. And we love working with you all. It's fun, and it takes me back to when I was learning about video and video production, and when I first got my start in journalism, which is my background, and that's what I took when I went to school. So great program at HCC, and we love being a part of what you all do.
Thank you, and we love you. Okay, Frank is coming back. Frank, tell us a little bit. We got some news and events to talk about. You want to start it out for us?
Yeah, let's skip a little bit down due to time constraints.
Okay.
So gallery without walls. So since campus art galleries are still closed, students, artists from all HCC campuses are now showing their spring semester work on Instagram again. So the non-jury exposition features studio classes from the entire system. So for more information on that, you can go to @HCC Visual Arts. There's no registration required. And to get contact information, her name is Catherine Fields. That's Catherine with a K. Fields@hccs.edu.
Okay, and if you need a new skill set, HCC is working with Texas Reskilling Grant Program, which is to help people who got all messed up with the COVID thing and they need a new skill to go back into the workforce. Go to hccs.edu/Texas-reskilling and they can help you out.
An uplifting experience. HCC just got a lift with a fresh funding of $600,000 from PepsiCo Foundation Uplifting Funding Program for HCC Southwest to offer technical training for Black and Hispanic students. This provides education and workforce pathways to obtain jobs in high growth, high demand areas. So don't miss the chance of a lifetime. Contact hccs.edu/uplift. And
something extremely important, August 23rd. What is that, Frank?
Registration day.
Hey, we got to register. We got to register now. So we have online anytime, online on a schedule, hybrid labs, hybrid courses, in-person classes. And especially if you want the in-person classes, they're smaller so you can be further apart inside the class. So you need to register now so you get the class you want. Go to hccs.edu/now. So also tomorrow, well, actually not tomorrow. Tomorrow is Saturday and I will be off and Frank will be off and most of you will be off. So that's a wonderful thing. But next week we have some neat things. We're going to have one of the winners of the HCCS business plan competition. They're called Scrubs to the Rescue, the DoorDash for essential workers. So what's the essential thing that they need? Of course, they need scrubs. So they're going to tell us how they won and what they did. And then next week, we got a whole bunch of other things. What are some of the things we got, Frank?
We got Music Monday. We got Tasty Tuesday. We got Wednesday Gaming Day. We got Thursday Virtual Family Fun Day and Film Friday. So don't miss any of those days next week and see what's in store.
That's going to be wonderful. I can't wait. And thank you, Frank, for joining us. I love working with you. And thank you for joining us on Up to the Minute. And we will see you next week.
Take care, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.